What's going on, you guys? Okay, listen, I wanted to do a video. I honestly wanted to do it's a little bit ambitious. And I already messed up because I did have a thought in my head that I was gonna do movie corner every day of this month. Girl, it's the fourth and this is like the second. This is the second. Let me tell you what I did watch, okay? Even though we are here for Freddy vs. Jason, and I just really wanted to talk about this because one, they put it back on HBO Max, okay? And if you know me, I do love horror movies. That is like one of my favorite genres. And I'm like the old school horror movie type of girl. The new ones that's out, they're cool, but they really don't do much for me. They don't really get that much replay value for me. But you give me a good Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Leatherface type of situation, I'll watch that over and over again. Okay, listen, it gets to the point where sometimes I put a horror movie on just to fall asleep. That could mean that I'm a little bit. I don't know. Does that mean I'm a little sociopathic or whatever? I don't know. But hey, it works. Okay, but I did want to do like one every day, but I'm gonna just see how much I can get out. Be a little bit more consistent with the movie corners. And again, it's spooky season. Happy spooky season, bitch. But listen, I did watch Megan 2.0 yesterday, and I feel like that deterred me not to want to do the. I gotta watch it again if I want to go ahead and do a movie corner on that, because to me, off of that first look, it's not even worth it. But that's neither here nor there. We are here for Freddy vs. Jason, okay? And yeah, I should have did, you would probably think I would do the Freddy movies first, then the Jason movies, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us have already saw the Freddy movies. Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Jason Friday the 13th movies. I think HBO Max, if you do have HBO Max, for sure, they do have the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Now, when it comes to the Friday the 13th movie, that could possibly be on Stars or somewhere else. But either way, let's just get down into it, because this movie kind of irked me, but it was still a fun watch at the same time. It is classic. Let me see. What year did it come out? 2003. And that was the problem with Megan 2.0. Megan 2.0 was too goddamn long. This was just enough time. An hour and 38 minutes, okay? So basically, if you have seen the Freddy movies, we get a background on the Freddy movies, okay? Freddy Krueger was this man in this town who basically was going around taking the kids, mostly the girls, baby girls, the little girls, and he was a child predator. He was a child predator. Now, we don't know if he was sexually assaulting these kids or if he was just killing them, but I'm pretty sure he was, okay? And the parents found out. They went and got his ass and then killed him, burnt him alive and all that stuff. That's why, he is burnt the way that he is, okay? And truth be told, justified, all right? And so he got mad in his body. I don't know how he was able to come back, but some way he was able to come back, and he was like, you know what? Y'all gonna kill me because I did what I did to your kids and I was killing them kids, whatever. Okay. Let me get my get back, even though you got your rightful get back at me, by getting back at your kids through their dreams. I said, what? You really gotta be so messed up in your mind to be like, y'all killed me just because I was messing around with y'all kids and I killed some kids in the neighborhood. And so just because of that, I want to get back at y'all for doing that to me because I did that to y'all by coming for your kids. That is so trifling, okay? And so, yeah, all of a sudden the kids get a certain age, like teenagers or whatever. And, we start seeing them getting, passing out, getting killed in their dreams or whatever. I say Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is a classic. I also I think it's the Dream Warriors ones too, because when that girl got killed with the TV, bitch, when The boy who was walking and he had pulled out his like veins and arteries and was using them like a puppet. Girl, what? Yes. Okay. And I ain't even gonna hold you. The first time I seen Nightmare on Elm Street and I seen Freddy Krueger, he kind of scared me a little bit. Mind you, I was a little bit younger than this. Okay. He kind of scared me a little bit because, oh my God, he burnt up. Why he looked like that? And then he come into your dreams. So I go to sleep and, bitch, are you trying to attack me in my dreams? I could barely sleep sometimes. But that was when I was a kid. So there's that. Then you get the whole situation with Jason Voorhees. Okay. Friday the 13th. Basically, especially like if you seen the first Friday the 13th, you know that Jason ain't even in that movie, okay? His mama was the killer. His mama was the killer down there at Camp Crystal Lake, okay? Because she sent the boy to the camp, and I believe she was like a cook or something. She worked on the camp too. But you got the camp counselors and stuff like that. These were other teenagers, you know, older teens or whatever, and they were supposed to be watching him. He has a disability, obviously. You know, he was deformed and all that stuff, so he got picked on. The counselors and people wasn't watching him. He wound up drowning in the lake and all that stuff. So of course the mama get pissed off and she get revenge on other campers. You know, the counselors there, fine with me. You know, you listen, here's the thing. Killing ain't right. But sometimes that shit do sound a little bit justified, okay? And I would say she was a little bit justified. Because why you up here fucking around doing what you doing and, you know, not giving a damn about my kid and they're dead, okay? So I gotta carry that hurt and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. So since nobody's doing nothing about it, let me do something about it. And see, mama, this is where I needed you to stop. I needed her to stop right then and there with them original camp counselors. Now, you want to come back because they want to open up Crystal Lake again. I understand that was a hard shift for you. That's a hard moment or whatever. But mama wanted to come back, and mama just said any and everybody that come back on this goddamn campground, slashing them. And that's what she did, okay? Until she got her head chopped off. And that's when Jason had to come through and like, absolutely the fuck not, you know. So he stayed out there in Camp Crystal Lake, and any and every time somebody tried to, you know, open up the camp or whatever, he'd come through and he'd take him out. Now let me tell you something. Jason got a little wonky for me when it came with that girl Tina. I think her name was Tina, and she had the telekinesis with therapists and all that shit. I was like, so we getting into this type of territory? See, they always go off the rails a little bit sometimes in these movies. And then, same thing when Freddy was like inhibiting that boy in one of the you know, I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street 2, I believe, when they was on the school bus and stuff like that. But see, that was actually good. I ain't even gonna hold you. That was actually good. But the one with what is it? Is it Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger? You know, sometimes I get my movies mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it had to be. No, it was Freddy Krueger. When not Freddy Krueger, but Jason. When his body, girl, it was stupid. It was stupid. It got so freaking like, and I believe Michael Myers did too. The Season of the Witch or something like that. Halloween, that I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're looking at movies, we're looking at a TV show, and then it's just like all of a sudden the kids' heads are exploding, the mask and all this stuff. I was like, what is this? Okay, and yeah, we could talk about the Halloween movies too, because this last reiteration of the Halloween movies, I like you know, they came back, which okay. But that last one where Halloween ends, I hated it. I hated it so much. I really did. I don't even watch it. I watched it that one time, 1.5 times, because I tried to watch it again, and I said, absolutely not, I couldn't. But anyway, so we got the backstory, right? And then it's been so long since we had those movies. I believe, like, you know, they did different reiterations, because they did do a new Nightmare. They did do, later on after this one, they did a like imagining Freddy Krueger. And then, you know, they had Jason X, and when Jason went out to space, I was just like, girl, let it go. Now they have this one, right? This was in 2003. And then everybody I was hyped for this, okay? I was hyped for it because you got two of the biggest, like, horror movie villains, okay? You got Freddy Krueger and you got Jason. And I was like, okay, cool, let's see how this looks or whatever. So when I first watched it, it was cool. But as an adult, I'm watching it, it's stupid as hell. We already knew it was going to be stupid as hell. But the only thing that really bothered me so far, like, the acting was terrible. The acting really was terrible. But the story is, you got Freddy Krueger who is trying to come back, okay? And listen, there is a show for those who are into, true crime and real events or whatever. There's a show, a docuseries. It's season 2 just started. And I believe it's like 6 or 8 episodes each season on HBO Max. And it's called The Real Murders of Elm Street. And like I said, season 2 just started, so it's just one episode in season 2. And then they also have another one that just came up, and I saw it yesterday. Friday the 13th, The Real Friday the 13th. And it's just like The Real Murders of Elm Street, but, murders that happen around Friday the 13th. You know what I'm saying? You don't realize how many Elm Streets there are in the world. Like, I did not know that, because we got one out here. We got a Camp Crystal Lake. We got a Crystal Lake out here in Illinois and all of that too. So, that's fun fact. But yeah, if you're into the true crime stuff and, looking at those documentaries and things like that, it's really good. I suggest you watch them. It's on HBO Max for my horror people and my true crime people. But we get these two giants come together. We get Freddy. Now, see, for a while this whole time, nobody been having any problem with the kids coming up missing, the kids dying or whatever, because at this point, Freddy realizes that the kids don't know about him no more. So therefore, he can't attack them in their dreams or whatever, because the adults somehow they made it so that the kids, that they don't know nothing about Freddy. He's just been washed away. And so he like, oh, it's my time to shine, but I need to get my power back and I need to wake this shit up. And I'm going to need somebody to help, okay? And who he go do? He go wake up the goddamn Jason. I said, Jason is like 1,000 years old. And he just be sleeping. And he just, you know what? If I was Jason, I'd be mad too. Y'all bothering me, bitch. You are bothering me. And all I do know how to do is kill. So therefore, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? And so, he wake him up or whatever. Then we get into, the present day on the movie. The main cast is this girl, Lori, her friends, Gibbs, and what's her name? What's Kelly Rowland's name? Kia. Okay. And then she got this boy, what was his name? The little nerd. Charlie. And then you got Will and Mark, okay? Will and Mark are in this facility. They're in this facility. We don't know for what. And they made it seem like they did some bad things or whatever, but it's like a psychiatric facility or whatever. And so they eventually break out because Will winds up seeing Lori's house on the news. And come to find out, somebody got killed in the house, okay? Basically, Lori was at home and she was kicking it with her girls, Gibbs and Kia, right? And then, Gibbs' boyfriend, Trey, comes over with his friend. And what was the friend name? Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Bobby, I think. Yeah, Bobby. He come over there. First of all, I cannot stand when somebody invites somebody to my stuff, okay? Let me know. Because Lori was sitting on that couch like, girl, who the fuck told them to come over here, okay? Because her daddy wasn't there. Her daddy works in Winston Hill, and that is the psychiatric place. And, he doing some undercover shady shit, and she didn't know nothing about it. But he wasn't home. The mama is dead, and they're there by themselves. Trey is such a meathead jock or whatever. I don't know. He just gives abuser tease. I'm just saying. if he had not went out the way that he went out, I'm pretty sure he would have been putting hands on Gibbs, okay? Gibbs do nothing but smoke cigarette and drink. And if you got to do all of that just to get through your day, baby, something wrong with you, okay? You need to get some help, and you probably need to get rid of the man that you was with. That man was talking down to her. He kissed her and said, "Oh, babe, you know I don't like it when you smoke," okay? And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll give you that." Because I don't like cigarettes either. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to smoke, I feel like you need to just go ahead and brush your teeth afterwards. Brush that tongue afterwards. Because that's what I do. I don't want that taste. And then people eat afterwards. How do y'all do that? The taste is still on your mouth. It's not mixing with your food. Oh, okay. You know, you got that going on. And then they're kicking it and they're kissing and doing all this stuff in front of their friends. And then he basically tell her, let's go upstairs so we can go fuck. And he's literally... Don't make me tell you twice. You know I don't like to repeat myself. And she just jumping at his every command. He fucking her up in there. And then once they finish, she laying on him. And he like, you know I don't like it when... I don't like to be touched after we get through. I was like, damn. You don't like to cuddle a little bit? I mean, I know we got a little warm because we just did the thing. But intimacy? No. She go in the bathroom and go take a shower. He reach over to get a beer. Jason up in there. And he wind up... killing his ass. Took the goddamn bed and just folded it. Truth be told, I was okay with that. I was okay with that because I did not like Trey. He just gave abusive tease. I'm just saying, right? And so they found out about that. But prior to that, you got his friend Bobby sitting down there. And see, this is where I had the main problem. Like, we know these movies are not meant to be serious. They're, for the most part, they're about horror, right? But then eventually, if they go on long enough, they get a little funny, okay? And at this point, we're not looking at it for seriousness or whatever. So that's not my critique. My critique was having Kelly Rowland play up in this movie, and she was playing Kia. And I feel like that this role that she was playing was terrible for her because it was written for a white woman. The way that her character, and that's really the main reason why I wanted to get on here. The way her character was being played and the way that she was just so persistent. You are a black woman and you are sitting here with your white best friend, which is fine because that does happen. I don't have a problem with that. But you are still a black woman. And granted, you probably live in a predominantly white neighborhood and probably grew up around a lot of white people all your life. So she could be a little whitewashed, just a little bit, you know, just assimilating to her environment. And it was just the way that she was just pressuring her friend Lori to kick it with Bobby. Mind you, Bobby is a drunk. He's an alcoholic himself. He's pushing up on her. And she basically was like, coasting and nudging her and basically like, girl, go ahead and fuck that man. Take him upstairs to your bedroom and let him see what's good. Like, what? Mind you, she know that she's still in love with her boy. What's his name? Will left. She don't know what happened, but she still got a feeling for him because that's her true love, right? And for your friend to be pushing these men, these boys on you like that just really disgusted me. And I was just like, ew, why is she doing this? Okay. And then you got the friend, what's his name? Charlie. He was a little nerd. You know what I'm saying? He has a thing for Lori, right? It's innocent and everything. And every time he tried to come over there to talk to Lori, you got Kia coming in, just busting in, just like, oh, she don't want that, and just really downgrading him and just being very nasty to him. And I'm like, damn, Kia, do you want to fuck Lori? That's what it was giving. And I was so glad when it came to the point when they was at that barn, that cornstalk ass party that they was having, because it literally was in the cornstalks. He finally told her about herself. He said, bitch, you are miserable as fuck. And you probably could be something if you didn't have all that goddamn makeup weighing down on your face. And another thing that I didn't like about this was the fact that they made her so self-conscious. And she was looking to the ideal beauty standard of whiteness. Okay, she kept on being so heavily focused on her looks. Wanting a nose job, wanting a boob job, wanting all of this augmentation and doing all of this stuff to, change how she looked, probably to fit in with the rest of the girls. the white girls that was around her, mind you, if you ask me, she looked better than all of them. Okay, but yeah, that part I did not like. I did not, out of all of the characters on here, I did not like Kelly Rowland's character because I can clearly tell that it was originally written for a white woman to play. It was just given that. And they didn't change it up or anything because, yeah, we may see that, but that's not so common to see black women talking and acting that way and being so forceful and trying to push your friend to do some fucked up shit like that. And just, oh my God, it just really irked me so much. Okay, so when she, I ain't gonna lie, when she died, I really didn't feel nothing. And I was like, who told her to say the F word up in there like that? Now, was that improv or did they write that in the script? If you watch it and you know exactly what F word he said. Okay, it's a slur. It's a slur. All right. I was like, oh my God, Kelly, what? I thought you was for the gays. Who told you to say that? But you know, this was back in 2003, so I guess we gotta. But bitch, I side-eyed that the same way I side-eyed her when she was up on that Dilemma video and she was sending a text message through Microsoft Excel. Oh, okay, it just did make sense. But yeah, so now we got Jason in the town just killing folks. It's waking people up. But at the same time, when they get contacted by the police who just so happened to be rolling around the neighborhood and he just so happened to get to the town. He only been in town for 1 month. What is his name? Because he played on Scary Movie too. Deputy Scott. Okay? He been in town for 1 month. You know what I'm saying? So he don't know the lore. He don't know anything about Freddy Krueger or anything like that. But come to find out, the other people that have been there forever, the adults, the other police officers, they know about it. They have been suppressing it. They don't want that name to get out there because the town has been quiet. They're trying to suppress what happened to Trey too because they think that it's a possibility that Freddy is back, but they don't want to put that out there, okay? So they want this new deputy to just shut the fuck up and let that shit go. But Freddy didn't do this one, okay? And so, like I said, Will is in this facility with his friend Mark. They hear about what's going on. They do a distraction to get the keys so that they can escape this facility. And they show up at the school, and right when Lori was just going off about how she couldn't sleep and she was, having this dream about this man with burnt face and he had these claws for hands and for fingers or whatever, and it was these little girls or whatever that was in there singing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Bitch, let me tell you something. If you ain't ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street, that shit would have got you. That is what got me. The song got me. 1, 2, Freddy coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, never sleep again or some shit like that. Bitch. Yes. You gotta have something catchy like that. But so they pop up, and when she realized that that's Will, she passes out. Girl, I ain't like the way she passed out. She passed out so fake. I would have left her ass there. I'm so sorry. Like, girl, what? And so basically he wound up telling her that, they took me out. They took me out. Now we'll get to Will's backstory in a second, but they had to run away because they was looking for them, Will and Mark. But Lori gets home. They wind up going to this little party that was out in the cornfields or whatever. Gibbs, she gets so drunk that she passes out. She passes out and she's having this dream, and we don't realize that she's passed out until we see that Trey, who is dead, is in the cornfields basically, telling her what to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that causes her to follow him. And then we realize, she done fell out. She done passed out. She's drunk as it is. And now Freddy got her, right? They go through this whole dream sequence, and she is laid out in the middle of the cornstalk, away from everybody else. But this one dude who was Raven with the bleach blonde spike hair, he sees her, And he follows where she went and sees that she's laying on that floor unconscious, basically. And he takes it upon himself to want to sexually assault her, or to begin to sexually assault her. But right before he can actually do something, and right before Freddy can kill her in her dreams, Jason comes through and kill both of them. Okay? Freddy is pissed off. Freddy is pissed off, bitch. She's mine. That was mine. I said, oh my God. See, this is what happens when you try to do stuff and you don't think about A, B, C, D. Like, okay, I need to come back, but I got to bring this bitch back so that he can bring me back. Put some fear in the motherfuckers. But you didn't think about what would happen when you can't control him. Because you can't control him. He's his own entity, right? And so you got that going on. And then Jason is just killing everybody. Okay, that's just wound up happening. The rest of the kids, they wind up getting away. Kia, Lori, Will, and then Charlie. Okay, and also it was another dude that was like a weed head. So they go to this other place. They talking about who Freddy is. They talking about they're trying to figure out who the fuck Jason is. But when they get to the whole situation with Freddy, but this is probably after Lori ran away from her daddy's house, because Will had dropped her off. And he was trying to tell her, your father put me up in this goddamn facility and he cut off all contact, because he realized that at this point, the letters that he was sending to Lori wasn't being sent out. So she knew absolutely nothing what was going on, right? And so at this point, the story is Will came in when he was sneaking into the house to see Lori like he always do. He saw what appeared to be Lori's daddy attacking / killing Lori's mom. And so because he saw that and he accused him of doing that, they wind up taking him and throwing him into this Winston Hill psychiatric facility. And that's where Mark was at. Mark was there also because his brother committed suicide, and he knew that his brother didn't commit suicide, that it was Freddy that did it, right? And so while they're in this facility, there are other teenagers and other kids that are getting that was also having these dreams about Freddy and everything. They are there because they're basically being used as test dummies for a sleep medication that's going to cause them not to dream. And you got one room full of kids that literally kind of like overdosed on them and they never woke up from it. So you got them still over there, and then you got the other ones doing regular shit, but they still giving, I think it's called no sleep or no dose or some shit like that. Whatever. Either way, that comes into play later. And so when Lori dad sees Will, he's pissed the fuck off and telling her don't listen. And he was trying to get Lori to go to sleep and to not pay attention to what he was doing. And then was running after her because she's like, bitch, I don't believe shit that you saying at this point. And let me just tell you this. When I was watching that, I always got a very bad feeling about Lori's daddy, because the way that he was coming off with her, it came off as if, mind you, this is Freddy Krueger, right? Freddy Krueger was attacking kids, especially the little girls, right? Okay, but daddy, he was given very much a sexual predator too. He was given very much, he was doing some insexual stuff too. Okay, I don't know, that dynamic and that chemistry and the way that he was acting and responding to Lori, it was just given very much he could have been touching her and doing some shit when she was younger, whatever. It was given nasty, okay? I just never got a fatherly feeling from him. It just gave predator, okay? And in the way that you're trying to shut her up and trying to get her to go to sleep and all of that stuff. But come to find out, the daddy didn't kill the mama. It was Freddy. So that's just really what it was. That's what Will saw, you know? And you got all of that going on. They basically trying to get Freddy. Now they know who he is. They trying to keep him up. He keep going after Lori. Lori wound up, you know, going to sleep and trying to pull him out her dream. She realized that when she went to sleep and they brought her back, and she brought back a piece of his ear. Okay, he pissed off about that shit. You know, Mark go home, he fall asleep, and he wound up getting killed. He hallucinating about his brother, who they tried to lie and say took his own life, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? But Freddy wound up burning his ass and literally put on him, Freddy is back. Bitch, that was cute. I ain't even gonna hold you. That shit was cute. Okay? But then you got this whole thing with Jason just coming through. They trying to get him on the Crystal Lake, okay? They go to the facility where the Winston Hill facility trying to get the medication. Jason wind up coming there. Freddy, of course, wind up coming there because the stoner dude wind up going to sleep. And Freddy wind up getting into his body. He was trying to use him to take out Jason and basically tranquilize him, which he did, and he still wound up getting the boy killed. And so they wind up getting Jason back to Crystal Lake, trying to get Lori to go into her dream and bring Freddy back. Eventually she does. And they go through this whole sequence of going into the fight. That particular part when Jason and Freddy was fighting in that warehouse and they was doing the ping pongs and shit, that shit was funny as hell. I ain't even gonna hold you because it was like ping, 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 ping. And the sound effects, that shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie. But when Kia got killed, I ain't gonna hold you, Kia. You did stand up to Jason. Not Jason. You stood up to Freddy. And you was talking mad shit about his ass. And it was getting to him for a second, too. It was getting to his ass, okay? Because he was looking like, what? She said you playing around with little kids or whatever because your dick small? Is that basically it? Bitch, she was going in. And Jason came through and fucked her ass up. Plugged her against that goddamn tree. Boom, killed her ass, okay? Before that, little Charlie got killed. That was so sad. He basically bled the fuck out. That one scene when Lori went to the to the nurse and Kia fell asleep and she was looking at that magazine of them getting a plastic surgery, and then Freddy came out and said, "Oops, I got your nose." That shit was funny as fuck to me too. But yeah, basically the movie ends with Freddy and Jason fighting because Freddy is no longer in the dream world, so he can't be hurt, he can't be touched, and they was beating each other ass. And I was just like, oh my god, what is going on? Who's gonna win? Bitch, they both was fucking each other up. And next thing you know, we thought that Jason had died. Well, he did, and he came back. And he had took Freddy's arm and stabbed him right through the chest with it. And then he fell in the water. So they both was out of here. And then at the very end, we see that, Jason come up out the water holding Freddy's head. And that was Freddy vs. Jason. The stupidest shit ever, okay? But it was fun. Bring back stupid movies that are fun. This is why I'm looking forward to Scary Movie 6. Because Scary Movie 5 was such a disappointment. Scary Movie 4 was, Scary Movie 1 and Scary Movie 2, they are my goats, and I can tolerate Scary Movie 3. Scary Movie 3, 1 to 3, I can look at them, okay? 4 and 5, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so glad that Anna Faris is coming back, and Regina Hall is coming back too. Yes. So, and Marlon Wayans and them, they coming back. I just need that. But Freddy vs. Jason, it was cool. I would like to see a rematch. But then again, it's like, what's the point? Because they can't die. But yeah, it was cool. Again, the only real critique that I had was the fact that Kelly Rowland's character was definitely written for a white actress. It had a white actress involved, so there's that. But anyway, that's all I got to say for this movie corner. If you have not seen it again, like I said, Freddy vs. Jason is on HBO Max right now. I believe it's also probably on Tubi or Prime Video. I got to see which next movie I'm gonna do. Listen. No, I'm not gonna do Megan 2.0 because I was so disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I was disappointed. Like, it had the action, but it took itself too serious. And it was too damn long. I'm sitting here like, bitch, what the fuck am I watching? It got too complicated. All we know is basically what's going on right now with the AI situation. AI is coming in and fucking up everybody at this point. It's messing up shit. We done seen stuff with AI, the AI artist, the AI actress that's getting deals and all of this stuff, whatever. We don't need that. We don't need that, okay? And then you get this technology in the wrong hands and they can turn it into a weapon, and then AI is constantly improving and learning, and I really feel like it's going to eventually take over. And that's exactly what Mega Point 2.0 basically was, but they did too much. They did too much to put that point out. But anyway, that's all I got to say for right now. You guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see y'all later. Peace.